welcome to the Social Media for Filmmakers panel. It's going to be fun. I'm going to talk about social media and hope to teach you a little bit about it. So that introduction was amazing, and just to make sure that they didn't pick some 16-year-old off the street to do this, this is my intro slide. It's only 3 bullet points. So I am a content creator first. Emacs Films is my tag on Instagram. You guys don't have to follow it if you don't want to. I just make filmmaking content online. Anything related to filmmaking, from pre-production, post-production, and production, and just kind of put it online for people to watch, learn, and enjoy. But I am also a director/filmmaker. I mean, as most of you guys are here, you kind of know how it goes with filmmaking. You kind of know more than one job. So that's kind of what I do. I can direct, but I can also do whatever else is required of me from other people on set. And I am also a Seattle 48-hour film participant, as you guys are from your cities. I am actually competing this year as well with my film winning in Seattle, which is exciting. So we'll see how that goes. But that is the little introduction about me. So let's actually talk about today. So my goal for this panel is to share all of my knowledge I've gathered from 2 years of content creation. I started in April of 2023 creating content online. So I want to share as much of that knowledge with you guys today and give you actionable steps if you guys want to start content creating yourself. Because filmmaking, is a very visual thing, and putting stuff out online, it's harder and harder to avoid these days. So I encourage everyone to at least do a form of content creation. It doesn't have to be like me, where you like posting every other day, but at least a form of it. I'll talk about it later on. It's definitely a great way to share what you make in the filmmaking world, and it's a great way for people to see what you're doing and maybe hire you for their own production. So it's definitely a valuable thing, even if you don't want to be a, in quotations, content creator, influencer, whatever the terms they toss around these days. So right off rip, I'm gonna start with the pros and cons of content creation. Just as a show of hands, has anyone in here wanted to become a content creator or share content online? All right, yeah, a few. It's so this is from 2 years of content creation. I put together a little list of pros and cons. As you can see, it seems a little bit imbalanced, right? Like there's a lot of pros and I put only 2 cons. But don't you worry, this is a very balanced list, because the cons are just as equal to all the pros, if not more. It just so happens to be that there's 2 of them, but they weigh a lot more. So I'll just go down through the pros. If you have a big number online, you get more recognition. It is as simple as that. You have like a large amount of following, or you get a lot of views on your content. Like, people do recognize you for that, and people will approach you and be like, oh, hey, I've seen your content, blah, blah, blah. We work on this? So it is a pro. You make connections easier with people, because sharing content online, it boosts the way you interact with people, because you kind of you gain the skill of talking to the camera, and it does actually translate in real life as well. So it does help you make connections with industry people easier, in my opinion. You also get free stuff. Everyone likes free stuff. But further down the line of content creation, if you work with brands, they'll send you free stuff, free gear, free lights, whatever. You can also make money. I put maybe lol in parentheses, because it is actually quite difficult, at least with Instagram, which is my main platform. But you can definitely make money with content creation. I won't really focus on the monetization today, because it's not as important as actually getting started in content creation and the steps that you need to start creating. Company collaboration, free stuff, same thing. But the biggest thing is repetition equals bettering your craft. Social media is a lot of repetition, and it does exponentially evolve your skill in a filmmaking aspect. I've seen it with myself easily. I look back at 2023 and I look at 2025. My skills as a filmmaker, just filmmaker full stop, not even content creator, have grown a massive amount. Just because I'm putting in the repetition and the hours, and repetition makes you better. So the cons is it's hard and it's time consuming. And I mean that. It's extremely time consuming, which means like you sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of free time. And it's hard, but everything in life is hard. So it's like I kind of scratched that one out. So, you know, if you want to reach anything, it's going to be hard. So you can scratch that out. So the biggest con is it's time consuming, very much so. Moving on, social media, like it or not, is a game of luck. I put the little roulette wheel thing on there because it is very much like a roulette wheel. Let's pretend that becoming successful at social media is the zero. You're betting on zero, the green number. And your odds of hitting zero, I don't know if any of you guys have played roulette in Vegas or anything, but it's a zero, it's 1 out of 37 chance that you're gonna land on zero. So if you spin the wheel once, you're probably not going to hit it. But in theory, if you spin the wheel 37 times, you should land on the number at least once. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you land on the number in your 37 goes. You might not even land on 0 in 100 goes. But this is the direct comparison of social media. It's literally exactly like this. You can spin it once and you can land on 0, and you can spin it 100 times and you'll land on 0. No matter how much work you're putting in and no matter how high quality your work is. Unfortunately, this is the case. But that doesn't mean you can't manipulate your odds in this game, because you don't pay to play with money. You pay with your time, which some people might say is more valuable. But the way you manipulate your odds is by throwing in the ball into the roulette wheel and playing again. I put probably some of you guys have heard the saying, the only way to win is not to play. In this case, the only way to win is to play. And you might get lucky early on, you might get lucky way later. I got lucky enough to get lucky early on, and it kind of carried me through the way. But people like to say that there's formulas for this stuff, but you know, you can manipulate your odds by creating quality and quantity frequently. But at the end of the day, no matter what you do, there is going to be a form of luck. So now that we kind of got that out of the way, let's take a look at the actual social media and the content that will kind of get you to where you want to be. And that is a vertical video. I mean, everyone knows, TikTok has been around for a while, Instagram Reels have been around for a while, and so have YouTube Shorts. But this is the way to grow your social media. Instagram has, you can upload photos and stuff like how it used to be. But now it's, Instagram has changed a lot. And now really the only way, or one of the ways to grow, is to make the vertical videos. So for Instagram, they're called Reels. On TikTok, it's just videos. On YouTube, it's Shorts. And not all of these platforms are created equal by any stretch of the imagination. I put the arrow towards Instagram because I think for filmmakers, and anytime I say filmmakers, by the way, just substitute that word for whatever your role is, like composer or whatever else. So filmmaker, that means any of the roles that you might be taking on set. But most often, Instagram is going to be your platform because it's you can curate your profile, you can set up what people see of you. So that's why I put the arrow to the Instagram, because TikTok and YouTube, it's a little bit different. That's more for people that really want to dial down into the content creation. But for starters, I think Instagram is the best. But it is going to be all like kind of vertical video content. That's kind of how you grow on these platforms, fortunately or unfortunately. The very first thing when you start out social media is you need to define yourself. It kind of seems a little corny, like define yourself, bro. Like, what are you talking about? But it is quite important because you need to know who you are online, and you don't want people to do that for you. And the reason for that is you want to be able to show what you want to be shown, and then not show what you don't want to be shown. And this is important because it will guide you through your content creation process. Because if you start putting question marks, oh, I'm not actually sure who I am, you kind of get into a little bit of this jumbled mess where you're not sure where you want to take your social media, and that's where kind of people just take it and they just kind of drop it there. And it's like, too hard, whatever, I'm done. So this is like the most important step when you want to start social media, is you want to define yourself. Who are you on social media? Because, you know, some people say, oh, I'm like the same on social media as I am in real life, but it is two different things. On social media, you put out kind of the best of the best. And especially in the filmmaking world, I mean, you kind of have to. You don't want to share something like half-baked usually. So it is a little bit different. I put in bold here, content creator first versus filmmaker first. I brand myself as a content creator first. That means I'm content creator first and filmmaker second. So my priorities lie within the content creation. That's if you want to be a content creator slash influencer. If you want to just boost your social media and be filmmaker first, which probably is going to be the most cases for you guys, because I don't know how many people want to be content creators these days, honestly. But if you want to be a filmmaker first, your approach is going to be slightly different. You're probably going to be sharing more professional content instead of kind of more, I don't know, maybe more entertaining slash quick creator content that we make these days. So it might be a slightly different approach. And the earlier you define this, the easier it's going to be for you to actually create the content that you need to create. And you want to create content that you're motivated about, because if you're not, you're going to burn out, and it's a serious thing. I see a lot of creators burning out because they're not making content about what they're motivated about. I haven't really faced a big burnout because I define what I'm motivated about and I create content about that. So I will answer all of these questions for myself so you guys can answer them for yourself based off of my examples. Let me just double check this. Yeah, I put those questions down at the bottom there. So for me, I started understanding who I am. I said I want to be a content creator first, and I want to make content about filmmaking. I want to educate people about filmmaking. I defined that right off rip, right when I started in April of 2023. Who am I online? I'm a filmmaker online. I don't want to share my personal life. I don't care. Like, I have no interest in doing that. My interest is to share my filmmaking online so that people can see it and use it however they want to. If they want to learn from it, if they want to hire me, if they want to just be entertained, doesn't matter. Am I a content creator first or a filmmaker first? Like I said, I am a content creator first, or that's how I define it for myself. And create what I'm motivated about. I said, I'm going to make tutorials. I like to talk about gear. I'm going to make stuff about gear. And that was kind of where I started, tutorials and gear. So that's how I answered all of these questions. So I think if you guys want to answer those questions for yourself after, I think they're really good questions to start. Now, I took a little screenshot. These are my first 9 videos that I put out in vertical content on Instagram. That very bottom right one was April 29th, 2023. And I still remember RJ, who's sitting right there. He commented on that video. He's like, wow, I didn't know that you could do this. It was just a video about how you can add film halation in DaVinci Resolve, because people liked film halation, and I knew how to do it, so I made a tutorial on that. And then I made, there's the bottom left one, it's a shutter speed comparison. So as you can see, it's like kind of tutorials about filmmaking. And then at the very top left, I'm making like a video about a $30 RGB light, right? So that's kind of, using those questions, this is where I started. That was me. And actually, if you see that one at the top right, the free assets for creators, that was the video that kind of took off for me. It was very early on, video number 7. So I hit the roulette wheel on my 7th go, which was incredibly lucky. But from there, I kind of gained traction and started gaining a following online. So hopefully that kind of gave you a little example of how you can answer your questions, those questions for yourself. So now that you've answered those questions, what can you create? I do have actually examples, and I put out like later towards the end, I have a bunch of like bullet points with ideas that you guys can just steal and do if you're kind of stuck. We'll get to that, and you guys can take a picture of it or whatever. One thing you don't want to do when creating content is you don't want to be the person that says, oh, let me know what videos I should make, and you as the audience. It's always good for feedback, that's great, but off rip, you do not want to be the person saying this, because that means you haven't defined yourself in the very beginning. And then you're already losing because you don't know what to make. And when you don't know what to make, there's no content flow, which means you're at a standstill. So you don't want to be asking yourself that question. You want to know the answer to that question off rip. Entertainment versus education versus both. In the filmmaking world, I would say that there's 2 categories of content: entertainment and education. It's probably for other niches as well, but in this case, it's very prominent. There's entertaining content, and then there's educational content. I focus on educational content, mostly. Entertainment content could just be where you're not really teaching anything, but you're showing something cool. There's people that make like really cool cinematic travel videos, or something like they go to like Iceland, and they'll make like the super cool edit with these sound effects and whooshes and shutters from cameras and stuff. And I would classify that as entertainment content. So if you want to put yourself in one of those niches, that could also be of benefit, because you can be like, okay, do I want to make content about education? Do I want to make content about entertainment? Or do I want to kind of overlap both of them? I put 3 little screenshots here of videos I've made in the past to kind of explain entertainment versus education versus both. The Dune one, I recreated a scene from Dune. And that video specifically is just a side-by-side of my version versus Dune. It has nothing to do with education. Like, I'm not really going over any concepts or how I made it. It's purely there for entertainment. People can see what I made versus what was made. This is my most recent video, the pickup patterns. It didn't do too well on Instagram, unfortunately, but hey, you win some, you lose some. This one specifically is I'm talking about a microphone pickup patterns. There's 5 microphone pickup patterns that I talk about, and I show how they work. Education. Nothing too entertaining about that, but it's education and that's value. And then the third one is a live action recreation. I took a scene from Star Wars Rebels, which is an animation, and I made it into live action. And that video specifically goes over how I did it, but also shows the final result, which is kind of both. You get entertainment and you get education. So it's kind of your 3 types of content that you create. You want to find your niche. If you're a composer, you want to probably lean towards more a musical niche. If you're a filmmaker, maybe you want to, your niche could be gear, for example. So you want to also try to define your niche. Now, filmmaking is a niche in its own, but if you wanted to arrow in on an even narrower niche, you can. I just kind of have a niche of just filmmaking, and it's been working for me. So that could also be your niche. Tips for starters. I put together a list of things I would highly recommend for starters. So let me go through them one by one. These are, I kind of sat down and I'm like, what if I'm recommending things for starters, what would I say? First one is identify how much work you can actually manage. This is So important. You don't want to identify how much work you want to do. You want to clearly define how much work can you actually do. Don't lie to yourself like, oh, I can make a video every day. Right, probably not. And that's what I did. I knew off rip I would not be able to make a video every day. And I was okay with that. And I'm like, instead of posting one video every day, I'm gonna post one video every other day. And that was my goal. So identify how much work you can actually manage. So important. Because if you set yourself an impossible goal, you're just gonna be discouraged off rip. You're gonna just throw it all in the bin and forget about it. So that's important. And everyone has a different life situation. You have work, you have whatever. So this is important to do in the beginning. Number 2, work on something every day, no exceptions. When I started in April of 2023, for probably a year straight, I worked on at least one thing every day that had something to do with content creation. At least one. That can be coming up with ideas, that can be scripting ideas, that can be looking for music, that can be editing, that can be something. But at least something every day. 30 minutes, just at least 30 minutes. And it's important because in the beginning I said repetition makes you better. That is very much true. But repetition is also discipline, and that's what you need for content creation. You need a discipline, and the quicker you introduce that into your routine, the easier it's gonna be for you. So the best way by far you can do this is work on something every day for at least 30 minutes. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be creating ideas. You can be throwing stuff into ChatGPT or whatever way you want to generate ideas. Doesn't matter. Just work on something every day, 30 minutes, no exceptions. Make it your routine. Kind of just talked about it a little bit, but creating content online is a routine. So it becomes your life or part of your life. So you kind of have to accept that when going into this. Number 4, minimize your setup process. You want to be able to create content efficiently, and one way you do that is by minimizing your setup process. I'll give you one example. I film content, a lot of talking head content in my room, so I leave my camera and my lighting setup always the same. So whenever I want to record content, flip on 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, turn on the camera, run it back. So minimizing your setup is going to help you a lot. You don't want to set up and break down every time. It's inefficient. And in the content creator world or content creation world, efficiency is key, very much so. But another key is consistency. People say, oh, consistency is key, and whenever you're not doing social media, you're like, yeah, right. How true can that be? But it's very true, unfortunately, because man, I hate being consistent. I hate having to be on the schedule where it's like I'm posting a video every other day. It kind of sucks sometimes because you want to do other things. But if you want to get somewhere with your social media, consistency is by far key, totally. Letting go of perfectionism is also something that's going to be very important because content, I mean, we're all filmmakers, so most of us are probably have some level of perfectionism. I do, for sure. But you have to let it go when it comes to social content creation because it's going to slow you down and your efficiency level is just going to go down. You don't want that. The idea of dead versus evergreen content is something that really relates to perfectionism because on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, and it's not the same for YouTube, but we're going to use TikTok and Instagram as an example, content is dead on that platform. After you posted it, give it 1 month and no one will ever see it again. Never will see it again. Which means the perfectionism that you're putting into it, you just let go of it because after a month, no one's gonna see that content ever again. Unfortunately, that's how the Instagram and TikTok work. It kind of sucks because I put a lot of work into my videos and I want them to be evergreen and everlasting, but unfortunately, Instagram and TikTok doesn't work like that. YouTube does. YouTube is very good at keeping content evergreen, and you can post a video and a year from now it can pop off and bring you tons of views. So YouTube is a little bit different. But the idea of dead versus evergreen content is very real on Instagram. Do it yourself at first. Don't rely on someone else to help you, or just do it yourself. Just start yourself. That's gonna be the easiest thing to do. You don't have to rely on someone else's schedule. It's just you, your schedule. Start and just do it yourself at first. Later you can find some help, but I think off rip, just do it yourself. It's easier that way to start. Don't compare yourself to other creators. It's unfair. I mean, people say don't compare yourself all the time, and we still do. Just try to avoid it. Take inspiration, don't copy. Self-explanatory. I mean, taking inspiration on, online is just do it. Everyone does it. Just don't straight up copy. I think it's kind of lame, honestly. You can follow those you admire to inspire you, and outlast everyone else. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Unfortunately, again, because you have to just keep putting in the work. But just outlast everyone else, and you'll succeed. Here's a little do's and don'ts of social media, in my opinion. Yeah, just don't doom scroll for hours. Just don't do it. It's not gonna help you. Spend some time on social media, but I try to just not be on it. I prefer to make the content than consume it. Now, I do consume content because it's everywhere, but just don't spend too much time because it's gonna discourage you. You're gonna see some person make an absolute banger of a video and you're gonna be like, wow, I suck. And then you're not gonna wanna do anything. So just don't do it. It's gonna help you. Don't get discouraged if you see no results, because again, we're spinning that roulette. It comes back to that. You're just spinning and you might just not be hitting the zero. So, yeah, don't compare your numbers to others. A thing that you can do is find like-minded people about content creation. It might help you. You can do so online as well. You can follow some people, send them some messages. Hey, like, what's up? We do the same thing. Want to connect? Something like that. We're gonna go straight past this. Be prepared to put in the work, because it's not easy. Like that first slide, the pros and cons. For a year, I love video games. I love playing them. But when I started creating content, I had to let it go. I don't play as much video games anymore, or as much as I would love to, because that free time after work, for example, that free time that I have is mostly eaten up by content creation. And, I just have priorities, and my priority is that. So you do have to kind of be prepared to do a little bit of sacrificing. I put sacrificing your time is inevitable. Just you have to understand that off rip. So if you're like, oh yeah, I kind of want to do content creation, but I don't know if I have the time, or that's kind of like a bad way of going into it, because sacrifice is totally inevitable. I put into here how much volume you need, which is the 2-week method that I'm going to give you, and how to avoid overworking, but we're going to cover that in this next slide. The 2-week method. This is the method I used when I started content creation. I should copyright it because I just titled it that. I don't know. I didn't see it from anyone else, but this is my method, and it worked for me. It might not work for you, but this is how I did content for probably a year straight, if not maybe like a year and a half. I only recently stopped for other reasons. The 2-week method is generate 10 content ideas. For example, review DJI RS4 gimbal. Compare shutter speed 1/30 versus 1/250. That's 2 content ideas. And you make 10 of them. Then you proceed to make 10 pieces of content that you had ideas about. And 10 pieces of content gets you about 2.5 to 3 weeks of consistent posting if you're choosing my way of posting, which is posting every other day, which I think if you want to grow on social media, the least amount you should post is 1 every 3 days. But if you can and you have the ability, try to go for one every other day. I think it's gonna work in your favor. One every day is crazy. I'm never gonna recommend that. That's like suicide. I would never do that. Never would dream of doing a content piece every day. Which is why off rip I just said one every other day, and that will be great for me. And this means this 2-week method gives you 2.5 weeks to do the whole process again. Let's say you are starting social media, you make 10 pieces of content, and after you made them, you start posting. After that first video hits your Instagram, you start this process all over again. You have 2.5 weeks to make 10 more pieces of content and to extend your posting another 3 weeks. Beautiful method, works every time for me because 2.5 weeks was just enough time to complete 10 videos at the quality I wanted to and give me enough time to, think of them and do them. So this is the 2-week method. You can, alter it for however you want, I guess. Moving on. Don't want to drop this water. That's some good water. Quality versus quantity. When you start, prioritize quantity, but that doesn't mean throwing quality out into the garbage. Because the way you kind of grow on these platforms is by telling them that you wanna post on their platform. So pulling out quantity is kind of important in the beginning. There is obviously people that might argue that quality is better, and to a degree I understand, but you want to kind of find a happy medium where you're pushing out enough content at a acceptable quality. When does that change? For me, this changed recently, and I'm focusing on quality over quantity now because I've reached a point in my creator career where I don't see as much benefit anymore from posting every other day. So I would rather focus on a one banger video a week as opposed to kind of 3 videos that are pretty good, but not anything crazy. So you could also try that method off rip, and if you make absolute heat, you can definitely get away with this. I just didn't have enough faith in myself to say, okay, I'm gonna make a heater video every week. I just didn't think it was possible for me. So that's why I chose quantity at a pretty good quality level, but not where I'm overkilling it. Here's my creation approach. You can steal it if you want. I start with the idea. I usually jot down ideas in my Google Docs. It's free. Just use that. Don't need to pay for anything. Or on my notes app. Sometimes I'll be on set with RJ or something, and he'll ask me about a microphone thing, and I'm gonna be yeah, I'm totally gonna make a video about that. And I put it in my notes and then transfer it to my Google Docs after. And the idea is just microphone pickup patterns. That's it. Three words. That's my idea. Microphone pickup patterns. Doesn't have to be any more in depth than that, because that's when you go into the scripting process. I also do it in Google Docs. Nothing crazy. Free again. So I script all my videos and I just write them out. You want to aim to be around 30 minutes or 30 seconds to a minute and 15. That's the golden length of vertical content length videos. 30 seconds to a minute 15 is what I found. Then I do the filming process. I just film in my room. I made a little backdrop and I have my lighting set up so I could just flick on the lights and go. I don't use a teleprompter, which definitely hurts me. So if you are not the best at speaking, just use a teleprompter. I do have one, I just haven't used it. And honestly, I should, because it take too long filming my videos, honestly. A ready setup always helps. Like I said, flick on the lights, get going. It's gonna speed up the process a lot. The editing process I do in Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve. If you don't want to pay for anything, just use DaVinci Resolve free version. It's going to get you 95% there. If you're comparing DaVinci Resolve Pro, just use DaVinci Resolve. It's amazing, free. So you could use CapCut as well. It's decent. We're just filmmakers here, so DaVinci Resolve is definitely higher on my list. So what can I create? There it is. Steal these ideas. Steal them. This is ideas that I just kind of honestly, I don't know how long I took to make them. Probably 5 to 7 minutes to write all of these. Gear software reviews, gear use case scenarios. So it's like, how am I going to use this light to light this scene? Or how am I going to use this boom to boom an interview? You can make tutorials that's on shooting, editing, prep, techniques, whatever. Explain film concepts, shutter speed, ISO, aperture. Behind the scenes, if you have a filmmaker first approach, behind the scenes is going to do you wonders. People eat that content up. Behind the scenes versus the final result, that blows up on Instagram. I don't guarantee your video will, but it's a good idea. You can do camera basics, camera advanced techniques, showcase some shots from your recent shoot. You can make like those cinematic travel videos. You can go to like, I was gonna say Iceland, but then it hit me that costs so much. You could go to your local park or something and film a cinematic like video and put that out there. You can make a recreation project like I did with the Star Wars or the Dune. Or recently, last week, I filmed an Arcane recreation project, if anyone just watched that show. And right here, I put some thumbnails. You can also take a screenshot of this. This is some thumbnails for my videos. We're gonna just go quickly through them. Recreating Dune, I just recreated a scene from Dune. It's kind of cool. It's pinned to my profile because it's awesome. Pickup patterns about microphones. I go over pickup patterns. I have a balancing your gimbal video. How do you balance your gimbal? I use the DJI RS4 for that. Then the fourth video is DJI RS4 Mini. It was a new gimbal that came out, and I made a video about it. Next one is, what is a PL mount? You know, PL mounts are used on professional sets, so I explained what a PL mount is. Shutter speed versus shutter angle. What lenses do we use on set? 23.9, 7 FPS versus 24 FPS. I made a filmmaker quiz. What is a slate? Seems kind of stupid, but it's for someone that's starting, that might be a super valuable video. So even if a concept sounds so easy to you, like what is a slate, to someone else that is a total gold mine. They're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, wow, thank you for sharing what a slate is. And you're just, it's easy concepts like that. Just because it's easy doesn't mean you shouldn't make it. Then I made a video about a smoke machine, and then I shared a timeline of like a drift video, and I only put the sound effects on there to see how the sound effects affect the video. So if you want to get anything out of today, this is the step-by-step guide on how to start your content creation journey. Number one is to identify what content you want to create. Do that before you create the content, before you start posting. Number two is set yourself a goal and a schedule. For me, it was posting every other day. That was my goal, and that was my schedule. Three is gather all the tools and knowledge you need to create your videos. So it's like you get a Premiere Pro, or you need a camera, or you borrow a camera. So gather all of that and kind of set your process like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, and that'll get me to the end result. Then, only then start creating the content. Generate 7 to 10 ideas, back to the 2-week method. Start scripting your ideas, just use Google Docs. Then I batch shoot my videos. So if I made like 7 to 10 ideas, I'm going to shoot all of the talking head videos in one day because it's just the same setup. Do that. It's going to help you. Just record all your talking portions if you're going to do that in one day. And then I shoot B-roll for all 10 videos on the next day. It takes about 3 hours or so to film B-roll for 10 videos. You can also do 7 videos if you want. That also takes you about 2 weeks of content if you do the every other day posting method. Then it takes me about 2 to 3 days to edit all those videos. And just, if you do it all in one like Premiere project or one DaVinci Resolve project, you can kind of copy your settings. So it'll speed up your editing process. So just like copy paste your like caption styles or your transitions and stuff. It's going to speed up your creation a lot more. Only then, after you make your first batch, start posting and repeat steps 4 through 10 until you don't want to, or until you just continue doing it like I do. except I don't generate that many ideas anymore. I kind of got into a more comfortable spot where I feel like I don't need to uh, put in the work to generate that many ideas. I'd rather focus on less ideas, just more like better executed. That concludes the panel. So now Q&A. Anyone have questions? Yes, right there.
I know you said that you did the Seattle 48 this year.
Yes.
How did you leverage your social media following, or did you leverage that in any way to maybe get crews, location, anything like that?
Oh, good question. Let me try to remember. For crew, no, I didn't leverage. No, kind of, actually, because I reached out to an actor I never worked with before, and whether you want to say I leveraged that or not, it probably played in my favor that I had a good following and a good portfolio on my profile. So yes, I do leverage that, especially when I reach out to actors, because they look at my profile and they're like, oh, I kind of want to work with this guy. So yeah, but my core crew usually stays the same, and locations I did have to pay for. So sometimes you can get away with. I probably could get away with certain locations being free, but the one that we used this time, no, was not free. But yes, I would say I do leverage that. Right there, yeah.
How do you feel about using hashtags? Do you feel like it helps?
No. It doesn't. Not anymore, at least. Now, I will say, I've seen the algorithm change drastically about 3 times since I started. So that can change. At this time, right now, hashtags on Instagram at least are pretty useless. Um, Only if I make something completely niche will I use it. So I made an arcane recreation project, and I don't make anything arcane related on like I'm filmmaking. I don't make anything arcane. But when I post the arcane videos, I will use some arcane hashtags. Whether it will help or not, most likely not, but I'm gonna use them anyway just in case. But only if it's such a difference that it's like arcane doesn't relate too much of me. Yeah, RJ?
I know you showed the thumbnails you did, but how important is a thumbnail for a video, and how long do you take to make them?
Okay, yeah. Thumbnails, I just make them, they're important to me because people can go to my profile and they will know exactly what video is what. So if they want to like peruse my profile, they will know what is what. So to me, they're important. How important are they really for discoverability? Nah, you probably don't want something completely trash. You want something kind of good, at least visually, because it's the first frame that people see. But it's not like super important. But I would say just at least take the time to make it at least look nice as the first frame. Yeah, right there.
If numbers matter, what's your take on buying followers? And I mean, I hear that if you buy followers, it waters down your engagement and
Oh
reaction.
yeah, don't buy followers. Just don't. It's not worth it. Totally botches your engagement. It can shadow ban you. Just don't do it. Get it naturally. I promise that if you put in the work and do stuff like every other day, you will see results. It's just how quickly are you going to hit the zero on the roulette? That's all that matters. It's just every time you post, you spin it once. Every time you post again, you spin it once. Don't buy followers. Yeah, right there.
Since the majority of your content is for vertical platforms,
Yeah.
are you shooting vertically or are you shooting horizontal and cropping it?
I am shooting vertically.
Okay.
If I'm making vertical content, I'll always shoot vertically. I've never repurposed. I haven't. It's actually on my to-do list to start long-form YouTube videos. I'm in the process of making some right now, actually. Those are all horizontal. But if I'm making specifically for vertical, shoot vertical. You get a nicer depth of field. You don't lose resolution. Yeah, I would say vertical. Yeah, right there.
No, if you post on TikTok like horizontally, how to make it so that it can be viewed like full screen as well. Like if you do like,
That should be an option by default.
we were trying and it was
Don't block the camera. Oh, it's time. It might be logged behind like 1,000 followers or something. It might be a feature logged behind like a follower amount, but I'm pretty sure there is an auto feature. If you post it horizontally, there's going to be a little like window at the bottom right that you click, and it just goes horizontal. Fact check me on that, but it might be logged behind like a follower amount. Yeah.
Would you post all your short form content on YouTube, TikTok, the same, or would you tailor it?
I post to Instagram and TikTok the same, but not to YouTube Shorts, because I want to reserve that audience for long form, and I don't want to water it down with people that watch a bunch of short form. So I actually don't use YouTube Shorts very often.
I'm afraid that was the last question. We have to wrap it up, guys. Sorry, thank you, Max.
All right, and hey, guys, if you do have questions, just send me a message on Instagram. It's emags.films. It'll go into like my request inbox or something, but just shoot me a message and I'll do my best to respond to you as quickly as I can. Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully it was insightful.
Hey, man, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
If you want to let Max and us know what you thought about his workshop, then have a scan and answer a few questions.
And I'll probably be outside for a little bit, just outside these doors. If anyone wants to ask some more questions, I'll hang around for like 10 or so minutes.